Right now, she is a silent spectator in your life, observing every move you make from the safety of the shadows. While you're going about your day, she is actively engaging with your digital footprint, scrolling through your old photos, rewatching your stories until they expire, and perhaps even listening to your old voice notes just to hear the tone of your voice. To you, it feels like she's gone because there is no ping on your phone and no "I miss you" in your inbox. However, this is where most men make a fatal mistake. They assume that if a woman is thinking about them, she will eventually say something. You are applying male logic to a female emotional framework, and that is why you are confused. The cold truth that will shake you is that a woman can be completely consumed by thoughts of you and still choose to never reach out. For many women, pride and the fear of looking weak are more powerful than the pain of missing you. She would literally rather suffer in a self-imposed silence, stalking your profile and whispering your name in her mind, than admit she made a mistake or that she still cares. You interpret her silence as her moving on, but in reality, she is stuck in a loop of observation. She is waiting for you to break first, waiting for you to validate her ego, and waiting for a sign that she still holds power over your heart. Today, we are stripping away the ego and the comforting lies you've been telling yourself. It is time to stop playing the guessing game and look at the raw mechanics of how this works. I am going to expose the 5 brutal reasons why she stays hidden in the shadows and why she chooses observation over communication. Once you understand the psychology behind her silence, your entire perspective on relationships and your own self-worth will shift forever. You will stop being the one who is hunted by what-ifs and start being the one who holds the cards. If you are truly ready to hear the unfiltered truth without any sugarcoating, comment "I'm ready" below. The reason she isn't reaching out is not that she lacks the words. It's because she isn't looking for closure. She is looking for confirmation. She has developed an addiction to the power of watching you from a distance without you ever knowing she's there. In the realm of relationship psychology, observation is a subtle but potent form of control. By lurking in the shadows of your social media, she is quietly collecting data on your life. She is checking to see if you are genuinely happy, if you have replaced her with someone new, or if you look miserable and broken without her. This information allows her to feel connected to you without having to take the emotional risk of actually speaking to you. You have to realize that men and women often process missing someone in completely different ways. Generally, when a man misses someone, he is driven to take direct action. He calls, he texts, or he shows up to fix the problem. However, when a woman misses you, she often begins to strategize. She won't send that text because she knows that the moment she initiates contact, she surrenders her advantage and reveals her hand. She wants to be certain that she still occupies a significant space in your mind, but she refuses to pay the price of admission, which is the vulnerability of a conversation, to get that answer. Instead, she stays silent and waits for you to break first so that you are the one providing the validation she craves. This is why you must stop giving away free information. Every time you post a sad song, a cryptic quote, or even a busy life update, you are feeding her addiction and letting her know she still has an influence over your peace of mind. The only way to break this cycle is to go completely dark. When you stop posting for her eyes and start truly living for yourself, her sense of security vanishes. The free data she was using to stay comfortable disappears, and that is the exact moment her quiet addiction transforms into a genuine panic. She can no longer tell if you are waiting for her or if you have forgotten her name entirely, and that uncertainty is the only thing powerful enough to make her question her own strategy. The truth that most men miss is that she doesn't actually fear losing you. She fears losing the invisible grip she has over your emotions. To her, the breakup often isn't a final goodbye. It is a high-stakes test of your strength. She walks away specifically to see how you will respond to the vacuum she left behind. She is looking to see if you will collapse into a mess, start chasing her like a shadow, or begin begging for a second chance. When you fall apart and start pleading, you aren't showing her love. You are actually confirming that she made the right decision to leave. By breaking down, you prove that you have no frame, meaning you have no internal strength or emotional independence, which instantly kills any remaining attraction she had for you. In her mind, reaching out first is much more than a simple text. It is an absolute admission of defeat. It is a total surrender of the power dynamic she worked so hard to establish. She would often rather endure the pain of missing you in total silence than give up the illusion that she is the one in charge of the distance between you. This is why she stays silent, to keep you in a state of waiting. She wants to be the one who decides when or if the connection resumes. As long as she thinks you are sitting by the phone hoping for a notification, she feels secure in her position of power. The real shift happens only when she realizes her tests are failing, when she drops subtle breadcrumbs, like a random like on an old photo or a thirst trap story designed specifically to get your attention, and you give her absolutely nothing back. Her reality begins to crack. When you refuse to react, the entire power dynamic flips on its head. Suddenly, she is no longer the one sitting on a throne judging your worth. Instead, she becomes the one spiraling into a mess of what-ifs. She starts wondering if she miscalculated, if her influence has vanished, or worst of all, if she has already been replaced by a man who finally realized his own value. In the world of high-stakes attraction, there is an unspoken rule that governs every interaction. The person who is less emotionally invested always holds the power. Most men are taught that being stable, predictable, and constantly available is the key to a woman's heart. But the reality of human psychology is often the exact opposite. Women are rarely drawn to what is guaranteed. They are attracted to uncertainty and the thrill of the unknown. The moment a woman feels she has completely solved you, knowing exactly what you'll say, where you are, and that you're likely staring at her profile right now, she instantly loses interest. The mystery is gone, and with it, the challenge that keeps the spark of attraction alive. You have to understand a fundamental truth. People do not chase what they already own. They only chase what they are genuinely afraid of losing. If you make yourself too accessible, respond instantly to every crumb of attention, or show all your emotional cards too early, you effectively kill the mystery that makes you desirable. This is exactly why the toxic men society constantly complains about often have the most success. It isn't because they are bad people, but because they never allow a woman to feel 100% comfortable. They keep her on an emotional roller coaster where she never quite knows where she stands. By maintaining that distance, they force her to stay mentally engaged and constantly working to earn their validation. To truly win her respect and reignite that attraction, you must become a man who is genuinely willing to walk away and never look back. You have to reach a point where you are completely detached from the outcome of the relationship. When she realizes that your life is moving forward with or without her, and that you don't actually need her to feel complete, the dynamic shifts. Your independence creates a vacuum that her ego cannot handle. The moment she senses that she no longer owns a piece of your mind, she will stop being the observer and start being the one who craves your attention simply because you are no longer a guaranteed option. You need to realize that in the aftermath of a breakup, words are completely worthless. There is no magic sentence, no logical explanation, and no heartfelt apology that can convince a woman to feel attracted to you again. In fact, the more you try to explain yourself, the more long paragraphs you send, or the more you try to talk things through, the weaker and more desperate you appear in her eyes. Every message you send acts as a safety net for her. Ego, because it tells her exactly where you are and exactly how much you still care. The only thing capable of creating genuine bone-deep regret in a woman's mind is your absolute, unwavering absence. Silence is a brutal weapon because it forces her to sit alone with her own thoughts without the constant reassurance of your attention. When you stop texting and calling, you stop feeding her the validation she uses to stay comfortable. Without your messages to remind her that she still has you, her mind will inevitably start playing tricks on her. In the vacuum of your silence, she begins to fill in the blanks with her biggest insecurities. She starts asking herself, why isn't he chasing me? Is he finally over me? Has he found someone better? This internal doubt and curiosity are 1,000 times more powerful than any romantic gesture or grand speech you could ever deliver. To flip the script, you have to become a ghost. You must transform yourself into an unanswered question in her life, a mystery she can no longer solve with a quick scroll through her phone. When you vanish completely from her reality, you undergo a massive psychological shift in her mind. You stop being a backup option that she can pick up whenever she feels lonely. And you start becoming a permanent loss that she might never get back. By giving her nothing, you force her to realize the true weight of your absence. And that is the only moment where real regret can actually take root. We need to cut through the noise and stop making excuses for her. The cold hard truth is that if a woman truly wanted to be in your life, she would be there. High V-value men do not waste their mental energy trying to decode silence or find hidden meanings in a random Instagram like or a story view. They don't treat digital breadcrumbs as signs of hope or secret messages of love. Instead, they look at one thing and one thing only: action. When a woman truly values a man and sees him as an irreplaceable part of her world, she does not sit on the sidelines and wait for a sign. She doesn't let her pride, her friends, or her ego stand in the way of a man she genuinely desires. If she is watching you, but not talking to you, it is a clear signal that you are currently a backup plan, not her first priority. She is keeping the door just slightly cracked, not because she's planning a grand return, but because she wants to keep you in her orbit just in case her other options don't work out. It is a safety net for her ego, and as long as you are waiting for her to realize what she lost, you are staying trapped in her game. A man who truly respects himself doesn't sit around hoping someone eventually sees his worth. He knows his worth is non-negotiable. He doesn't pause his life for a woman who has chosen to be a spectator rather than a partner. Instead, he focuses entirely on himself, builds his own empire, and moves forward with his head held high. The most powerful response you can give isn't a clever text or a final goodbye message. It is becoming a version of yourself that she no longer has the privilege to access. When you level up your life, your fitness, and your mindset to the point where her opinion of you no longer carries weight, you have already won. You aren't doing it to prove her wrong. You're doing it because your time is too valuable to spend on someone who isn't 100% certain about you. The greatest shift happens when she finally realizes that while she was busy watching, you were busy outgrowing the version of you she thought she could always come back to. The time has come to stop chasing ghosts and waiting for a notification that is never going to appear on your screen. You have to stop analyzing the why and start accepting the reality. Her silence is not a mystery to be solved. It is an answer in itself. The moment you truly internalize this, you finally become free from the emotional prison of waiting. This is your cue to stop looking backward and start pouring every ounce of your energy into your own mission. When you level up your life, your fitness, your finances, and your mindset, you naturally become a man that any woman would eventually regret losing. But the real beauty of this process is that by the time she finally realizes what she walked away from, you will be so far ahead in life and so mentally strong that you won't even care about her regret anymore. You are becoming the version of yourself that is completely untouchable. You are no longer a man who is moved by the whims or the silence of someone else. You are a man driven by his own purpose. To keep this momentum going and to ensure you never fall back into old habits, subscribe now and join the inner circle of men who are finally taking back control of their lives. If you are officially done playing these games and you're ready to put yourself first, hit the like button. Let the world know exactly where you stand by commenting below. I control my emotions, not her. Remember, you are the prize in this equation, and it is time you started acting like